Today, I'm going to tell you the best way to ask for a raise and actually get it. If you're new to this channel, I used to be a managing director at a prestigious Wall Street bank. Over the years, I had tons of people ask me for raises. Some were very successful and others not. So today, I'm going to share exactly what works and what doesn't. Now, to work the system to your advantage, you need to first understand the system. Once a year, most companies go through a process of adjusting their staff's pay. The best time to ask for a raise is at the beginning of this process. It's the easiest time for your manager to actually get you more money. If you ask at a different time of year, you're making it significantly harder, as your manager will now have to fight two battles for you. He or she has to prove that you are worth a raise, but now also has to prove that you are worth making a massive exception for, and giving a raise at a different point in time from when the firm normally does them. And this is risky for your manager's career. It could backfire and open the floodgates with many others coming forward to demand an off-cycle raise. So, tip number 1, ask for a raise at the right time of year. If you don't know when that is, ask HR when the compensation review process occurs. And here's how the process works. The manager who determines your compensation receives a pool of money, which they can then allocate to their staff in the form of changes to their base or bonus. That person will determine how much of the pool you will be getting. This decision is based on your performance, your level, and how your current pay compares to the other staff performing a similar role as you. This is a zero-sum game. If you're given a larger raise, there is less available for the other people. Now, the amount in the pool itself is generally set by higher level management and determined by several factors that I'm going to outline at the end of the video. If the pool doesn't have enough money to give you what they want to, the manager I just mentioned can request more. This is an exception and is very rarely done, only for the absolute top performers in the group. So, tip number 2. Ensure the manager determining your compensation thinks highly of you. That way, they will look out for you in the compensation process and allocate you a greater portion of money. And if needed, they will fight for you to get an exception. The best way to get noticed is simple. Consistently do great work and make sure your direct boss recognizes that you are a top performer and trusts you. By the way, if you don't know who the person determining your compensation is, check your firm's directory. It is likely to be the first person in the chain above you who holds the highest title your firm has. Managing director at a bank, for example, VP in a tech company, that sort of thing. If you are a junior or at a mid-level role, it's probably not your direct boss. It's probably their boss. Nonetheless, even if your boss is not senior enough to be that person, you still need him or her on your side, as your boss will be the primary voice who will tell that person about you. In addition to this, once you find out who that person is, if you haven't already met them, you'll want to ensure you do. It's very important for them to have a personal connection with you versus just a name on a list. I'll cover how to connect with senior people the right way in a future video, so make sure you're subscribed for that. As you can see, the compensation process is about choice. Who does your boss and your boss's boss choose to focus on and give more money to? If your boss does not know that you need a raise, they may not prioritize giving you a larger share of the money available. So, tip number 3, make sure your manager knows you want a raise. Book a time to speak to him or her and be direct and state that you need one. Do not expect your boss to just know that you should get one. This leads me straight into tip number 4. You need to ask your boss the right way. You need to keep them on side, make them think you're in high demand, and help them sympathize with your position. Here is an example of the best way that you can ask your boss for more money. Hi Josh, I wanted to talk to you about my pay. I've been receiving regular reach outs from competitors on LinkedIn. I'm not searching for a new job as I really like working for you. So I've been turning these offers down. But after multiple reach outs, I did become curious about the market rate for a job like mine. A quick conversation became an interview, and as it turns out, competitors are willing to offer 80% more. As I said, you know I really like working here, but on a personal level, I just don't have the luxury of ignoring such an increase in pay. Is there anything you can do to make my pay more competitive? Let's unpack why this is so powerful. As I've outlined in this video, you need your boss on side and wanting to fight for you to get more money. This approach puts your boss in a really good position, as he can now say to his or her boss that you really like working for him or her and want to stay. Plus, you're getting your boss to sympathize with you, as you've stated that on a personal level, you just can't ignore such a difference. Powerful stuff. And lastly, this approach creates scarcity. It demonstrates that you are in high demand as other companies want you. Nothing pushes the price of any good or service higher than when there is high demand and little supply. By the way, oftentimes you don't actually need to get another written offer to have such a conversation, but it certainly is more powerful if you have one. Now, to have such an effective conversation, there is a lot of groundwork that you must do first. You need to have a top LinkedIn profile and resume to get such reach outs. You may even have to do further education. Please check out my other video on how to create an awesome resume, which would definitely help. I'll link it down below. And as I always say, you need to ensure you're doing a great job and your boss trusts you. And in any negotiation, remember, silence is a weapon for you to use. After you state your position, just sit there in silence till your boss speaks. Do not start to self-negotiate because you feel uncomfortable. For example, I could probably stay for as low as an X% increase. You see, now you're asking for less money. Look, there are alternatives to asking for a raise that do not require you to go get another offer. They're just less powerful. For example, if you're certain you are underpaid, you could lean on the sympathy side of things. Here's what I'd say. I'm really struggling financially for X and Y reasons. Because I'm struggling so much, I have done market research on Glassdoor. What I found is that the going rate for a position like mine in the same industry and similar location is 80% higher. I don't want to leave, as I really like working for you. Is there anything you can do to adjust my pay to be more competitive so I can stay? Be prepared to show evidence of what you found. Do not just go into these conversations and make up numbers, and be realistic. If you're already on a good salary and don't have personal expenses to justify why you are underpaid, you will be laughed out of the room, which leads me to my final tip. Tip number 5. Asking for a raise is something you can only do a few times in your career, so make it count. You don't want to waste it by being unprepared for the conversation or asking at a time that there is just nothing that your boss can do to help you. So, be thoroughly prepared and be aware of the macro conditions that will affect whether your boss can get you a raise. Specifically, how your company is performing, how the industry is performing, and how much the CEO wants to invest in the growth of your department. If any of those broader factors are not in your favor, either you have to wait it out or, I'll be straight up with you, you need to look for another job. This can be moving internally for a job in a growth area within your company, or if the issue is with the whole company or even the industry, you will likely want to move companies entirely. Don't bash your head against the wall by staying on a sinking ship. You are not the captain of the RMS Titanic. Well, that's all for today, folks, but I do have something new and exciting for you. I'm introducing a weekly live stream every Friday to discuss in depth what I cover in each of my weekly videos. This will be a time for you to get your specific questions answered. So please post your questions down in the comment section below. After the stream ends, I'll post a link to it in the description below for any people who missed it. Make sure to smash the like button and get subscribed. It's something that you can easily do to help grow the channel. And a bigger channel means more videos are created for you. Plus, it makes my mother very proud. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and I will catch you later.